Hi, girlies. Welcome to Book Please Podcast. It's Elina here, and I have my girlie with me.
Hey guys, it's Amanda.
So, we are so excited to be back for another episode. We hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving. We did have a little bit of sad news to share. Sorry to start on a sour note, but we will make up for it with this amazing book we're reading. Our girlie Nata will not be joining us further on the podcast. She moved, and we're so excited for her, but it did complicate things a little bit with having to do this. So we wish her well. Amanda and I are not going anywhere. We're here to stay.
You guys are stuck with us.
You are. And we have so many exciting new plans for the new year. We have more author guests signed up, and we're really going to be propelling forward in this new year. And if you have any suggestions for books or topics you want us to talk about, please let us know. We are always here for you.
Yes, super excited. We'll miss you, Nata.
Yes, we will. We love you, girl, and best of luck. As you know, last week we had a Thanksgiving giveaway. We dropped a holiday episode, and we gave away a $50 Amazon gift card. We're so excited for all of you who entered. We'll be announcing the winner today, and all our newcomers who subscribed through the giveaway. We're so happy to have you. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our YouTube. Amanda, shout out our handle.
Book Please Podcast.
Yes, find us on YouTube, subscribe, throw us a like. We'll definitely have more giveaways in the future, and we already have a few ideas brewing. So, we'll let you guys know. Amanda and I are both home for Thanksgiving. She's in New York. I'm in New Jersey.
Neighbors.
How's that been going? Yes.
For me, good. It's super nice to be home. Thanksgiving's one of my favorite holidays, mostly because I love food. Christmas is up there too because you eat a lot for that as well. But as you know, it's cold, so I'm used to the warm weather. It's so funny. Yesterday, my grandmother was like, "Oh, wasn't it so nice yesterday?" I was like, "I did not leave the house. It's freezing."
You know what's funny? Normally when I come back now from Florida, and I've only been living in Florida for 2 years, I'm shivering, teeth chattering, if my dad drops me off somewhere, I'm right in the front, I race into the door, and he's like, "What's the matter with you? You don't know you don't remember where you came from all of a sudden?" But I will say this time it's a crisp, nice cold. I'm actually enjoying it. I don't mind it too much. It's not too cold yet for me, at least.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not windy, so it's just cold, but tolerable. So I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have to talk about this. Because I'm home in New Jersey, I'm at my parents' house. And as you can see, I hate this vibe, this pink wall situation I have in the background. This is
so
my childhood bedroom. My childhood room. If you see little Cash is sitting on the bed over there. This is his little tail. But it's so funny because I have to work from home while at my parents' house. And it's so funny because I don't know if it's like that. It's my loud Greek family or just every family goes through this. But I'm I have to do a whole thing before I have my meetings. I'm guys, I'm about to jump in a meeting. Everybody quiet, don't call for me. Let's keep it down. It's that's the time that everyone's I want to come in and bang every pot and pan and let the dogs out and they're barking. And it's everything will be zen and quiet. And I'll give my whole speech. And then it's a crazy whatever. So anyways, this time I was having a meeting with really high up executives at my company, and we're sitting down, and it was only really my dad in the kitchen. And I was like, "Dad, just don't say anything. I'm not even on camera. You can walk by, just please." And I'm these are really high up people in my company, and it's a small intimate meeting. Just don't say anything just for a few minutes. I was if you're going to need to be loud in here, that's fine. I'll go downstairs. Just let me know. And he's no, it's all good. I'm leaving, blah, blah, blah. The meeting is fine. It goes off perfectly. Then towards the end, they were closing up the meeting, and one of our executives was "Okay, well, does anybody have any questions before we sign off?" My dad in the background was "I do."
No, you didn't.
Amanda! The way I panicked and checked that I was muted I never have.
Were you muted?
Yes.
Okay.
And I wasn't gonna be because I had just spoken, and out of habit I just muted it because usually I would keep it on to just say goodbye. by the grace of God, I was muted. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, that's not funny. Like, and my dad, I don't even know if he knows what mute is. So like he just like literally blatantly just was like,
Thought he was
hi,
funny, yeah.
dude, like in the background, thinking like as if no one can hear you.
That is great. I love it. I'm here for it. I'm happy you were
Are
muted.
you?
It's funny if you think about it now. If you were muted, maybe they would have laughed. You would have
If
gotten like, maybe you would have gotten like
What
a
would
little
I say?
promotion,
It's
funny
not like
family.
my main ass team, girl. Like
Oh,
it's like high up. It's like CEO, executive producers at my news station. Like those are the
I can
vibes.
top you. I can top you with this.
Go
So
ahead.
when I was working, well, I work from home, and my desk is set up between my living room and my kitchen. So behind me is the
Hmm.
bedroom. And when I lived with my partner, he, one time, I was in a meeting,
Oh my God.
wanted to go to the laundry room, which is you have to walk out of the bedroom and go like towards the kitchen. And
Yeah.
I do have a blurred background, but because he's a person, he showed up and he only had on like briefs and and went to the. I turned so red. I was like, and I know everyone saw it because there was no way not to. I was like,
It's
what
like
do I do? What do
in
I
his
do?
fucking boxers.
Yeah, like running. And I can tell you, like, he's never done that again because he definitely heard my mouth out there. I was like, really? Like, at least like text me, give me the heads up. So now what
Yeah.
he would do is like make sure his stuff was out before I started my workday. But I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, like this.
Girl, that is bad, but that's funny. But it's like, it depends on the crowd. Like people could laugh it off. And like if I saw it, I would laugh it off. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But one woman one time, like sometimes like you gotta don't sabotage yourself. Like first of all, whatever's in your background, like look around, like things like that.
Oh, I think
And
I'm
there's
talking
this
about.
what?
Is it all over social media with what the lady had
Oh,
in the back? Oh, that was different.
oh, I saw that with like a dildo in the back of her. Yes, that viral video. Hello, what are you doing? But there was a woman in my one meeting actually, and we had like a larger team meeting with like our associates. So like they played a stupid icebreaker to be like, oh, like, you know, what do you guys like to do? Like, what's your blah, blah, blah? Who here has pets? Like, stupid questions. And one of the women, actually, from like one of our partners, was like, oh, I love to read, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like all excited, like, oh my God, like I'm going to
Me
chime
too.
in, like
Yeah.
I'm ready, like excited. And then our VP of like our whole company is like, oh my gosh, like, what do you like to read?
I'm scared.
This woman was like, oh, like it's like, I like
50
to read
Shades of
like
Grey.
adult books and
I
like
know.
erotic books that I can't talk about in this meeting.
No, she didn't say that. She didn't say that.
Yes, and she's like like an
I
older
would have
woman,
laughed and been like, "Oh, like 50 Shades of Grey."
bitch, why are you like literally? She's like, I read these weird ass pornos. Like she's like, I like to read these adult erotic novels that I can't talk about in this meeting. Bitch, say anything else. You could have just named a genre and been
Yeah.
like, oh, I like romance.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be that deep. Are people not well? Sometimes I think about that. I'm like, people are not normal. Like,
Yeah, and I also think people that work from home, there are people that work from home that ruin it for us people that work from home. Like when you're wearing things, like if you have a meeting, look presentable. I'm not telling you you have to throw on makeup,
yeah,
any of that stuff, but like
sure.
don't
And I
come
do
out,
actually.
yeah, like don't come out with like a like PJ top. Like bottoms, no one's seeing. You're good.
I've never seen someone in a PJ top at
Oh, I
work
have.
in a meeting.
I have. And I'm just like, you couldn't just throw like something on, brush your hair, nothing. So
Stop.
ladies,
That's
guys,
really
work at home.
bad.
Yeah, look presentable because then it's like these people are like, now I want this person back in office. If they like look that,
Yeah.
especially if you're on calls all day and like if you have to deal with like customers or clients, like that's what is representing us.
I have never seen that.
Ugh,
I have seen like someone look like, oh, they just rolled out of bed.
like disheveled in
Like I
coffee.
just like this is my bed head. Like I've seen that, but always like like who are you trying to play here? Like in the
Mhm.
morning, first meeting. But seeing someone like in a PJ top, that's just disrespectful.
Or in bed. I've seen someone, and of course people talk about it behind the person. I saw someone that
Yes.
literally was in bed running a meeting, like sharing her screen, running a meeting, laying down in bed, and I was just like, Isn't she embarrassed? Like, isn't she? I'm just like,
No.
I,
I've seen people sit up like on their bed, like you can see it, but like the bed is made, like they're sitting up against like the headboard of the wall or
no, this girl's
something, but it's
comfortable.
not like, which is still weird. I've never done that, but I've seen people like sitting up in bed, but like dressed and everything, but like
Hmm.
laying back in bed.
Like
That is a
literally
whole
had it
nother
on the
level.
bed while she's like there sharing her screen
Ma'am.
talk, and I just remember like a little side convo going on. Like people were like, "This can't be real. This like, is she sick?"
Oh
And I
my
still had to present.
God. That is, no, that's
Yeah,
too
I
much.
just so I try and like make sure I like look decent, you know. I get
A
on, I don't
hundred
know, you're probably
percent.
like me, but whenever I get on a video call that I know is going to be with like it doesn't matter who, any person, I go on 2 minutes earlier just to see what I look like, and I'm like,
A
okay, you look
hundred
decent.
percent.
Yeah.
I always look at it, I always do like a camera check first.
Hmm.
And sometimes, like, if I get an impromptu meeting, like, if my boss is like, hey, do you mind just hopping on real quick? I'm like scrambling, changing my shirt, like, out of whatever.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, real quick.
Yeah.
But I always just make sure it's just it's a respect thing too. And you want to look like, you give a shit. So
Yeah.
totally get that. Another order of business that I need to get off my chest. Okay. I need to talk about read receipts because, on your phone, obviously people know what read receipts are. It shows like when you've read it. I just need to say, nobody believes you. Like if you put them on with an agenda, I get that. But when people just have them on and it's like you text someone, 10 hours go by, they answer, and then it'll be like read, answered right away. Nobody thinks if you have read receipts and you've waited a couple hours or however long, read, answer right away. Nobody thinks you just answered as soon as you saw it. That's when you saw it.
Yeah.
We all know
It was
you
after
didn't
at
just
least an
see it.
hour.
We all know you already saw it. You're just sitting there, not clicking on it until you want to
This
answer.
sounds
First,
personal.
no, I just don't understand it. Like, I'll see people who do that just randomly. Like, it doesn't matter, like, who it is,
Yeah.
like a random friend or this or that. And I'm like, nobody's buying that you just clicked on this and it's like, read, answer. I'm like, you literally have been avoiding just clicking. It'll be nothing. It'll be like, oh, what's the weather? I don't care what like, I'm not talking about a serious conversation
Yeah.
that you're avoiding. I'm just saying, if you're doing this to your people, I just don't understand because you're avoiding clicking it. Me personally, I can never put that shit on
You're like
because
me. I believe it.
I'm paranoid that if I click on it, then I have to, first of all, I want to click the message, especially if it's like a saucy one. I need
Yeah.
to read the whole thing. I need to
Yeah.
think of a response. I need time. I'll decide, like, I can still answer hours later, but I don't need people to know when I clicked it. Then what if you accidentally click it? Then you're sitting there and you're like, oh, damn, now I have to respond right away.
Yeah,
It's too
yeah,
much.
I think you're just like me. Like I can't have mine on because if I read it and it says I read it, I have to write back. So I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. Like I don't want
Yeah.
you to be like, oh, I know you read it and you don't think it's important to write back to me now. And sometimes we get busy. Like sometimes I'll open someone's message and I'm like, shit, I got busy. I forgot to write back. Like let me go back. So if I have my red receipts on, I probably would lose sleep over that. I'd be like, oh my god, now I have to like message them
Yeah.
like, are you okay? Like I know it took me 3 hours to get back to you, but I promise like I read it and like just
Yes.
was busy. So I could never have mine on. But I will say I am a salty little bitch. So if I'm
Yes.
fighting with
This
someone
is
or
a
I'm
different
annoyed,
reason.
yes, if
Yes.
I'm annoyed with someone and I like want you to know I'm annoyed with you, I will put the red receipts on so you know I saw your message and I'm purposely not writing back. But then like
Yes.
my psycho ass will like turn it off and we're good again.
No, 100%. And you don't have to put them on for everyone. You can put it on for an
Hmm.
individual. And there's a reason for that.
I'm the
And
queen of
that's the
that.
reason. No, that's incredible. Because like otherwise, for me, it sent me in like a panic. Because I accidentally open messages all the time. It's a harder job to avoid opening the message.
Oh yeah.
It's just you're succumbing yourself to all this stress. Like, why are you doing that? Like, I really just don't understand people who just like blanket like put their read receipts on and like purposely like decide when to open and respond. I'm like, first of all, you have to read
Psychopaths.
the whole message. Like, what are you doing? Also, my mom doesn't know this, but she secretly, like, she accidentally has hers on just for me.
Oh,
She
just for
must have
you?
just, how you accidentally like hit some buttons?
Yeah.
Like, they're on just for me. And I love it because I like know where she is at all hours. I'm like, Mom, I know you saw that. Like,
I know
I
you
know.
saw.
I just
Let me
love
check your
that because I'm like,
location.
it's my mom. Don't change it. But just for me, like I love like I know where you are. I know you saw it. And sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, did you see this? Oh, where?" I'm like, "Honey, I know.
Since you're about that with your mom, I have my mom's like location, and whenever I FaceTime her or call her and she doesn't answer, I'll like text her and be like, "What if I was dying? Like, how do you not answer me?"
100%.
And she's like, "Well, I hope you call 911 if you were dying," like every single time.
Literally so funny. My mom has my location and I just like let her have it. I'm like, whatever. But she'll be like, "Oh, like I know she just checks that little dot and she'll be like, "Oh, I just waited till you were home to call or this or
No,
that." I'm
she's
like,
so cute.
"Girl,
I
girl,
have
do
all my friends'
something else. It's
locations, and all my
okay."
friends have mine. Like, I'm pretty sure you have my
Yes.
location.
Yeah,
Amber has
uh-huh.
my location. Like, all my friends. If I went, I'm the wrong
Same.
person you want to take because someone has my location.
100%. There's a whole crowd of crazy mommies that have our locations that will come for you. So do not
You know what
play.
else I hate? I don't know if it's just me, but I can't leave notifications on my phone, like the bubble. Like, when it says you have like like I need to clear it because it like gives me anxiety to see it there. So when people have like, my mom had like 200 messages the other day, and I'm like, Mom, how does that not bother you? She's like, I can't help that I have that many. I can't go through them. I'm like, that would just, emails, same
Oh,
thing.
where it says the number
The
of
number,
unopened.
yeah, of unopened. Oh,
Oh my God, I used to be like that.
oh, I'm so
Now
like that.
I'm not so good. I used to be like that and I never understood. Like you look at somebody's phone and it's like 600 unread and I'm like, you're so cool. Like shut up. Like just stop. But I think right now I have about 40, but and it used to drive me crazy, but those are like random ones and a lot of them are like, hey, it's Fashion Nova. You left something in
Promotions.
your cart and
Yeah.
stuff like that I won't
Oh,
click on.
I
But
stop
like
those
if
really
somebody
quick.
texts me, I'm clicking on it unless I'm intentionally not clicking on it.
Oh, it drives me crazy. I'm also someone that locks my door 3 times. I'm like, I gotta check it three. So
Yes.
I'm one of those. So it's just, I'm a nut job.
My email inbox though is a whole other story for another day because it's in the tens of thousands of
No,
unread.
no. I
You
would
open your
I open all my
Oh,
messages. I
that's
Now you have me going to check if I have any.
I have so many that I'm like so concerned.
Let me see.
Let's take a look.
I have
I
9,
don't
and
know if
now I
you
have
can
to go
see.
in.
I wonder if you can. Let me like lower the brightness. If you can see this number right there.
That's crazy. It's almost at freaking
That's
30,000.
30,000
Meanwhile, mine is like
unread
9.
emails. Wow. Great. There's two different kinds of people in this world. And here we are.
I literally turn like anything like airport, not airport, like any apps that I like don't use as much, like Uber, all that stuff. I have notifications turned off because if I see it there, any promotion, it drives me crazy.
I know. I do get that. That's so funny.
Mhm.
And it's also funny that like I feel like you're just must be more organized because like I have the 30,000 unread. I'm
Oh
the
yeah,
late
no,
one. You're on
no.
time.
If it's not on my calendar, I'm not going. My friends always want to make
Yeah,
plans. I'm
you're
like,
a
throw it
calendar
on my calendar.
queen.
Yeah, I look at my calendar first. People be like, "What do you have going on this day?" I'm like, "So I have this, this, this." It's a force. My calendar is color coordinated, like that.
I'm dead.
Let me
I
show
could
you really quick.
never.
I'm
I'm
like,
just not this person.
I color coordinate everything. Like, let me show you by month.
Like I know what I'm doing and when
Like,
I'm going, and
everything's
that's
color
it.
coordinated. Red is like
No, no.
important, when I'm traveling, like everything.
No, no. See, that's like exciting. Like it's fun to be like, oh, put it in the calendar. But like I'll go through phases of like I like having a written planner where I can like cross things out. If I'm like
Um,
really trying to like achieve certain goals in that way,
mhm,
I'll do it. Otherwise, and I go through phases of like I'm really doing it or I'm doing absolutely nothing. Like I've never been like consistently like, okay, I have a calendar that I've maintained, like never. It's just like, oh, the period of time that I'm like trying to do something or reach a goal and I'm doing it. And
mhm.
then that's it. Like,
Oh,
I don't know. Ain't nobody got
I was
time.
gonna say my Notion page must drive you crazy for the podcast.
I
I have like
no, girl, I
everything,
don't
little
check it
charts.
that
I
much.
know. I think the other day you were like, "Can you remind me what our password is?" This, and I'm like, "Ah, it's in the Notion page."
I don't even have Notion. Like
I'm very
it's
organized when
I
it
I
comes to that.
do, but I have to be I'll be better. That'll be a goal I'll work toward. I'll take that from you
Yeah.
as inspiration.
It's okay. I'm a mess with
And
everything else.
no, I will try to be a calendar person. I love that for
I
you.
love it.
And I think it's like a healthy way to like work towards different things and like get organized, something that I'm not. And yeah, so
I just
well,
lose sleep if something's not like. I'll be sleeping and I'm like, wait, I was supposed to do something, and I literally will not sleep until I get up and do it or make a reminder to do it.
See, like, I just feel like I just handle the things I have to do. Like, I
So that's
know,
good. Yeah.
so I just don't, I don't know. I don't know, but I like that. I did miss one workout class that we said that we were going to go to together.
Mhm.
And in my head, because we had switched it, it was like we were going to go on a Tuesday, but then we moved it to Wednesday or something. And then we moved it back or something like
Yeah.
that. I was expecting to go on the one of the wrong days, and then you texted me and you were like, "I'm in the parking lot."
And you're like, what?
And you even sent me a calendar invite. I just didn't put it on my calendar.
I was gonna say whenever we have workout classes, I think I do a calendar invite.
Yeah, but I don't even have the calendar you have. So I will sync up with you outside of this and we'll get ourselves on the same calendar,
Yeah.
okay? So that's that. Let's please, I've been dying for this moment in time.
Oh, is it
Get into
time?
Fourth
Is it
Wing,
time?
hold it up, the love
Mm,
of our lives.
beautiful,
Fourth Wing by
beautiful.
Rebecca Yarros. I still just don't
Beautiful.
understand how people think that it's a slow start. I just couldn't agree less.
Agreed. Yeah, I want to finish it.
Um, Literally, we read chapters 9 through 16. I think this is the hardest we've ever had to hold ourselves back from communicating about something, and we definitely let some things slip because we just
So
could
hard.
not
Yeah.
talk about it. But we barely did because we like to save it for fresh reaction on the pod, and we
Yes.
really didn't get to react to the main things. But this was the hardest it's ever been for us.
Hmm. So you guys come
So
first, just so you know.
yeah, we did this for you because otherwise we would have been just going at it. I would have
Raw
called you right away.
reactions. That's what we're gonna call it. Raw reactions.
Literally, this is authentic shit right here, okay?
You're welcome.
Oh
Okay,
my goodness.
so let's dive deep. Yeah,
Yeah, let's go. This book has me rethinking my favorite genre. It has me rethinking my life. It has
you're
me rethinking
welcome.
everything I thought I knew. Fantasy is it, honey.
Yes.
I'm
Oh,
obsessed because it has every element of the things I like, including like the smut. I love smut. I
love.
love
Yeah.
smut
Hmm.
and love books, but like sometimes they're too cheesy. Like this is real. This has more things going on. This is dope as hell. Like I'm obsessed with this book.
Hmm.
We started off at I feel like the gauntlet is a good place to start because we really want to get into other things.
Hmm.
Why don't you kick it off for us?
Yes. So we learned that she needs to get through that. Like that's like the final, I would say, big test before they can bond with
Yes.
dragons. And she's small, so she had a lot of obstacles with that. Where other people are a little taller. Oh my God, your dog is so cute. I'm sorry, I'm so distracted by little.
Cash,
Cash is like all
Cashy.
in this.
Oh, hey,
So
Cash.
cute.
He's trying to get comfy.
Oh, look at that little
He was,
ear. Oh, so cute. But my favorite thing
he's trying
about
to get comfy.
oh,
Yeah, so Violet's like going through this Cash. Just get comfy, okay, and plop
oh,
back down.
baby. Okay.
He's gonna like dig and
There we go.
burrow.
There you go.
There he goes, bunny, my little bunny. Yeah, so Violet is like, and they're all being put to this test of like this
Hmm.
almost like impossible. They have like a certain amount of practices to go through the gauntlet, through this obstacle, which is like crazy.
And it's
Violet's
needed.
like us.
Yeah.
She's tiny. She's a small,
Tiny.
she's
Yeah.
a small
Little
girl.
teen.
And yeah, it's like physically for her to reach certain things,
Like the
it's not
top. Hmm.
possible.
Hmm. Yeah. And then we also learned that, see, this goes back to the two men in her life, right? I mean, obviously there's more men, but the two main ones. So Dane, which I'm tempted to call Dean, but Dane, and Zayden, and my new nickname for him will be Zay Zay. So
Yes,
Dane and
honey.
Zay Zay.
Daddy's
So
day. Zaddy.
Daddy Zay, yeah, exactly. So both men, I feel like, are helpful in a way, but also not. Like Dane is kind of trying to convince her, listen, like you can't do this. Obviously, he's like super doubtful. Like I can get you back into getting into like scribing. You could get back into that quadrant and do that. And she's, so it's kind of like I would say like a punch in the gut. Like why doesn't he have more faith in her? Like you've noticed since she was a kid, this is what she wants to do. She keeps telling you to stop, and all he's doing is pushing her. But I get he cares and wants her to live, but you should be preparing her, like Zane is doing. Zayden's like
Yes.
literally setting her up, like telling her how she can get through the goblet, what she can do, like giving, like dropping these little nuggets. So we kind of learn that, he doesn't hate her at all. He actually,
Yeah.
yeah, you could see that I think he doesn't blame her for what her mother did. And I think secretly like she feels like she should hate him, but she doesn't blame him either for what his parents did. So
Yeah.
I love him for helping her push through, and obviously she does go through. She ends up, he kind of tells her that all the rules, like what was it exactly he said, like,
So I just feel like, first of all, just to speak on their dynamic, I think
mm-hmm,
it's like with what you were saying with Dane, it's like he's so soft and he's just like doesn't even he's just like trying to get her to just like abandon ship and just be like, "Oh no, go there." Like you are not healthy for her. You're not pushing her. And I know you said this last episode, like he's not giving her like any sort of guidance for growth or anything like that. He doesn't, and she feels this like lack of faith from him. And then Zayden is the one who said to her, as you're alluding to, was kind of like, well, it doesn't mean that the one way is the only way.
yes, mm-hmm.
So it's like, just use your mind in a different way. And who
And
better?
she's
Like,
so smart, yeah.
she is, her brain is her strength, and
Mm-hmm.
she's so cunning, and she found her own way of doing things, and there's not always one way to do it. It's not one size fits all approach, and she figured it out in her
And
own way
didn't
to
break the
brace
rules.
herself
Mm-hmm.
up. And it was a nerve-wracking experience going through the gauntlet. She orally ended up dying. They end up losing people in that too. And it's like scary. And they have a
Oh,
certain amount of tries. She never made it through. And
all the
she
way.
had
Mm-hmm.
the one chance that she had to make it through was the one that it was like, you can't go back down. You have to, it's either you make it or you die. And then Dane is like, just run away. Like, what kind of a person is this? Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, you know what? Just like, let me put you in the scribe quadrant, and he's like pushing her to go and being like, no, no, you're not going, like think about it, now's the time, like trying to get her to back down at every cost. I started to really hate him.
He was like no
Like,
man. I like, I couldn't believe it. I was just so disappointed in him, especially because her mother would find out eventually. Like, another, that's another thing that annoyed me. He's getting in the way of her and her family. Like, just let her do this. It's not like she was like, please help me get out of this.
yes, she even said when she's like, I knew I had the choice, and Dane set it up where like she actually could go and in a way that would be as best as possible kept private. And she's like, I know I actually have this option, and she feels in her gut that she's not going to take it, and she wants to have this faith in herself, and she wants to do it and feel this sense of accomplishment. And I think Zayden is helping her think of, try and find a way that
Mm-hmm.
to be positive, to get through it. And that's what she needs right now. Like, she's not quitting.
No,
So you can help her or you can step aside. That's what it is.
exactly, exactly. And when they were going through the trials, when Aurelie died, oh my heart, I cried. Like that part was super sad because she was the one that was like she knew the most about it. Her dad set her up for this. Like, she did
Yeah.
really good with training. So, and then seeing how people are gonna die, they know this. But how bad
Yes.
she felt about it, and her parents didn't want to like get the body and do their own burial, like that broke my heart. It just kind of showed like she grew up, and you think her parents would kind of be the same, or well, her mom would be that tough, but she turned out pretty like an empath, like super sweet.
Yes. Violet's amazing. And she was like Violet was right behind Orly when she did die, and it like remained with her. And then she felt a
Mhm,
sense of purpose to like grab her satchel, like to be there. And they ended up choosing to burn her body, her parents chose.
mhm,
And it's just such and it really put things into perspective for her, like what the possibilities were, so that when she got up for her last shot at it, this was the real one where like you can't have a mishap or you'll
oh
die.
yeah,
Like there was a way to, in the trials, like step down and try it again the next time. But like
mhm,
this time was the final time. And right before that, she had that pep talk from Zayden that got the wheels turning for her to be like, okay, well, let me think outside of the box. Given what I'm working with, how do I get across? She
mhm,
uses her knowledge of technicalities and rules to still make it be something that would stand like lawfully
mhm.
and not be challenged and not be
Yeah,
illegal.
like a
And
penalty. Yeah.
yeah, and she made it through. So that was amazing. And I was
Mhm.
so shocked and pleasantly surprised that like the next thing was like, okay, they're doing the walk and then they're bonding with dragons. I was like, oh my God, like this
Oh
is
yeah, it's
it.
like
Like
night
this
and
is her
day.
time. So
Mhm,
they're like, at
mhm,
first they like it's basically like they're walking across and like showing themselves so the dragons can see them and like start to get a feel for them
Sense.
and maybe make a decision like who they want to approach, who the cadets, soon to be riders, will approach. So they're making this walk, and at this point, dragons too can decide to like torch one of them if they don't feel that they're equipped or going to make it. And it's a scary, testy time. And she's going through, and they're seeing like the green dragons, the brown, the different colors and what they stand for and what types they are. And like the whole time, Violet's being cognizant of like how to handle like looking at one, whatever. And then she starts to say, like, everyone's gaze like is like pointed toward the right, and it's like they're struck by something. And then she looks over and she sees like a little golden one.
The
And then I
baby.
started to be like, oh wait, like maybe my prediction is wrong and this little dragon is going to be hers. Like I just was like, what is going on? Like, oh my god, what ended up happening, I couldn't have even. Oh, but
Imagine.
I knew that the golden dragon was going to have still something to do with her.
When she was
But I still
protecting
felt
it.
strongly about my choice of the black dragon. So then in the next chapter, it was all about like that moment where they're now going out to bond. And this is also, so they lost members of their squad as well. They lost some. So then now they're going into like see who's going to bond with who. And then like if you're unbonded, you would have to like start the year over. You could even get torched in that moment and
Yeah.
killed. There's people who may be fighting over dragon. Like it's a hard
And you
time.
also got to keep in mind too, you don't do this as a group. You have to be alone. You can't be in groups. You have to go out
Yes.
alone. Hope you're not going to die alone. And
100.
each dragon you have to approach a different way. Some
Yes.
people feel things instantly. And then we find out at the end that the people that don't bond will try to
Yes.
take you out if you're already bonded with a dragon in hopes that the dragon would bond them. So there's so many layers. Mhm.
Yeah, and when you first bond, like, the bond strengthens over time. So they try to take advantage of like you just bonded, it's the weakest it's going to be your bond. So let
Mhm.
me try
Yeah,
and fight for your dragon. Craziness. And we start to see like people are bonding. Violet doesn't feel the pull.
she
And
doesn't. Yeah.
she's looking around and she's like, I'm supposed to have this instinct that tells me like to go towards this dragon or I'll
Hmm.
know or nothing. Then Jack Barlow, who we hate so very much,
Fuck you, Jack Barlow.
and Tynan go to seek out. So basically, like, there's this complex about like inferiority in this
And they
world
already
where it's like,
bonded, all three of them.
yeah, it's so stupid. Like the weak ones don't make it essentially, and they're like looking at, and that's people wise, but they're like, no, but this dragon is good for nothing because it's a smaller dragon, and whoever its rider is going to be the weak link, like being on this little ass
Hmm.
dragon that's incompetent. We need to take out the dragon, which is like unheard of and crazy.
And also illegal. Apparently, you're not supposed to just kill dragons.
No, that was
Yeah.
just absolutely absurd. So then Violet, who had gone like on a tree because she was like starting to be like, shoot, like I don't know who I'm bonding with. So she's like, let me just survey the land, sees Tynan and Jack, and hears that they're going to try and take out the golden dragon. And our girl with the biggest heart, who we love,
She's not going to let
goes,
anyone be a bully.
yes, goes, even though she is not as strong and outnumbered, goes to
Hmm.
defend the golden dragon.
Yep. Great character thing. And this kind of shows her heart. Um, so we do learn that she does try and defend them. Jack
And
was
who
the
pulls
first
that
little,
Boganda?
I couldn't believe Jack was like the first to run away. Isn't that crazy? Like he initiated this.
What a
She,
little pussy bitch.
such a little pussy. I was just like,
He
oh,
was like, my shoulder is
I know.
broken.
And then our boyfriend comes out, Zayden. He obviously can't intervene. He can't do
Her
anything. He's
boyfriend.
just yeah, our boyfriend. I get you. Yeah.
Disclaimer, not her boyfriend.
Our boyfriend, ours,
Oh,
not hers,
oh,
not
oh,
hers. I
yes.
mean, me and
Oh,
you.
oh, yes. Our boyfriend.
Our
A
boyfriend, not her
hundred.
boyfriend.
Yes.
Her
Zayden.
soon-to-be future husband, obviously. But
Correct. Yeah.
he's there and he can't intervene. He's there with his dragon, Sigale, I think her
Yes.
name is.
Yes.
And he kind of the only thing he did was kind of tell her to watch out because she's against three guys and it ends up being against two guys, so She
And you
dodges.
could tell he wanted to step in, but lawfully he
He
can't, so he's
couldn't.
just behind. But he was giving her verbal cues, like behind
Exactly.
you,
Yeah.
like doing what he could, even though that's
Yeah.
probably more than he should have.
And then we learned the golden dragon can fly, but doesn't have claws. So it's just paws.
Only has teeth. Like,
Only has
oh my
teeth.
God, the little
So
thing. And she was saying, she was
cute.
like, fly if you can.
Can.
She was like,
Yeah.
torch. And
Yeah.
then the
But then we find
couldn't blow
out
flames.
it stayed for her because it didn't want, she was defending the dragon and then she wanted to be there just in case. And then we also learned that Zayden's dragon is protective of the gold dragon because
Yes.
she's tiny. So she ends up calling her mate, which is
Gail calls her mate.
her mate. Yep. So that's why the black dragon comes.
So Tarn comes, who's that black dragon who
Hmm.
hadn't bonded for 5 years, called this last
You
episode,
did.
and was whose rider died trying to resurrect Violet's brother Brennan.
Hmm.
And since then, this black dragon has not bonded. And it was just like, has not been seen also, like just,
Hmm.
and was not in the lineup at all. So, like, which the lineup would have shown intent to bond.
Hmm.
This black dragon comes, and then you almost hear Violet putting together the pieces because she starts to hear the
Hear him
dragon in
talk.
her
Hmm.
head. And she's like, wait a minute, what? How did I just hear you? Like,
He chose
and
her.
she's realizing he chose her, and this is who I can't, I'm gonna
And then we
cry.
also learned that she's tied to Xaden because both their dragons are
Yes.
mates. So it's just
Yes.
like oh,
And the dragons can't, when they're mated, they can't
can't be
be, they
away.
have to be like paired up and stationed together. They can't
Hmm.
be apart for too long.
Hmm.
Ooh, love
I
that
love,
detail.
okay, what do you think about her dragon's personality? I love, he's such an asshole, but I love it. Like he gives it back to her. I love his banter. Like he
Yeah, I
sounds
think he's
mean, but
great
I
for
think he'll make her
her.
tough. Or when he asked her to kill the one that was unconscious, whatever, and she's like, no, like just, and then he's like, he would do it if you were the one unconscious. She's like, that's like his moral compass, nothing to do with me. So he likes
Yes.
how, she has a heart, but I just don't want her heart to get her killed one day.
So, yes. So that was, I mean, I thought he was awesome. I will say for part of it, I listened just to like feel it out. And while I was driving, like I was just so obsessed. I had to like I put it on Audible for a little bit, and I was like, the dragon sounds like, I feel like when you read it, it's not he doesn't sound as like almost like evil, like the take
Like,
as it's read, like he sounds like miserable, but like he's dope. Like
he's
this,
so dope,
he
yeah.
is, he pushes her in the right way, but he respects her as well.
Yes. She's witty too. Hmm.
People, of course, are like so surprised that he would bond with her. And while she took flight too, he also like accommodated her. You can fly right off your dragon and they'll let you fall to your death and be like, you're not strong enough. Like, whatever, that's on you. He's sitting there protecting her, like, as she's navigating how this tiny girl, is going to ride him. She falls off. He picks her up. He holds her in place.
Yep.
And she's literally sitting like, why me? Why would this dragon bond me? And he can hear her,
Yeah,
and
she
it's
didn't know yet.
offering her words of validation and helping her feel worthy. It's exactly what she needs. And he said to her this line that I wrote down that I thought was like amazing. So he said, strength of courage is more important than physical strength.
Yep.
And she showed so much courage when she went and stood in front of two cadets that are when she stood in front of two cadets that outnumber her, that are stronger than her, that are, able to take her down. And she stood in defense of that golden dragon. And I knew that there was something up. I was like, are Tarn and this golden dragon, who we didn't know the name at the time, a pair? Because I was like, do they come together? Because it was almost like she sat under his wing. I was like, is this the dragon's child? Like, it's almost like Tarn took in this golden dragon.
I
I
thought they
felt
were a
like
2 for 1. I thought
I
when,
felt the
yeah, I
same.
was like the fact that the
It's like
dragon's
we called
following,
it.
and then right when the dragon like landed, I was like, oh, she has two dragons. Like that has to be like making
Yes.
sense. And then when
Chills.
Adarna spoke to her in the head, I was like, what? And then we find out no one's ever bonded with two dragons. I'm like, she's
Yes.
unique.
So she starts talking
Hmm.
to Violet.
Oh yeah, that part was crazy. She's literally saying her dragon is Tarn, and then
When she starts talking to Violet. Violet's like, stop doing that. Like, you're not allowed to do that unless you're bonded. You can't just talk to another person. You
Yeah.
can only speak to
Calling
someone
her
you're bonded with.
Goldie.
She's not processing, like, bitch, I'm bonded to you.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah,
So
yeah.
she goes up there to tell the scribe and report, like, I'm with Tarn, and then the golden dragon says to her, and Darna. And she's
No.
like,
Her voice was
what?
cute.
And then Tarn was like, say it. And she's like, and Darna. And then she tells the scribe, and everyone was
Everyone loses
out
it.
of their mind.
When Jack found out who her dragon was, I loved it. I was milking it. I was like,
Yes,
yes.
I didn't want him to bond. And
I knew he would, but I think she's
Tynan
gonna kill him.
died, and I was hoping it would have been
Jack.
Jack.
Jack will die. I can't see. He's a
I
villain.
can't
He's
wait for
gonna
his ass
die.
to
I
die.
know.
I
I know.
was hoping
And I
he'd be
hope Goldie
unbonded.
does it. I hope the little golden. I hope Adarna does it. I hope she kills him.
So there was like a little turmoil at that time because it's like the dragons had to hold a discussion because she bonded with two. Hated Dane in this moment because he was like,
Hated
you're
Dane
gonna
at
have
the
to
end of
pick
the
one.
chapter.
You
Ugh,
negative mother effer.
I hate
He
him.
said to her, you're gonna have to pick one. Like, first of all, you
Mm.
don't have a
And
say.
then to pick the golden one, like no, like what? You like trying to
Yes.
set like I mean, not saying Goldie
You
or
can't
Adarna,
handle
yeah,
the big dragon. I'd be like, go fuck yourself.
yeah. I don't know
Literally.
how she kissed him at the end. I would. I mean, I know she wasn't feeling the kiss, but I was just so. I was like,
Yes.
ugh, he's so unattractive. Like, ugh,
When he kissed her, she
mm,
felt nothing. And she
nothing.
had like growing up like a crush on this
Crush,
guy
yeah.
that she grew up with and he was older and whatever and it was like finally this is the moment and there's nothing there for her. And there
Well,
was for him.
well, yeah, and also I think when Zayden asked, like, would you break the rules to save her, and he said he wouldn't. There's no
Yes.
effing way I have any feelings for you.
And you know Zayden would and
Would
kind of
yes.
kind of treaded the line as it was. Like
I
I think
mean,
if she was
yeah.
about to die, he would have stepped in.
100%. Or his dragon would have. Like, I don't know if they
And
can punch dragons, but
I wonder if their mated dragons like intensifies their like
all right, they're gonna be
bond
such a power
together.
couple. I'm telling you, Zayden and
Oh my
her and the
God.
two dragons, no one's gonna want to
I'm
ever F with them. If there's king and queens, it would be
dead.
them. Yep.
Can we talk about the mom for a second? I was really hoping this would be the breakthrough moment where Violet's mother would just give her like a nod of like pride, encouragement, something like, look at my daughter. Like, you see, I told you, like, this is why. Like, any kind of just a glance, a knowing, like,
She's tough.
moment of like, just a quick validation of like pride, even if you can't speak. And I was pissed, and Violet was very disappointed. And she just, that really bothered me.
I know it would bother you. When I was reading it, I was like, Alina's gonna have a field day with this part.
No, but I was rooting for the mom to come around. Like, I really, it's not like, okay, I hate her, but like, what a bitch.
I think her mom will be proud of her when she gets her power, when she like has her first battle. I
What
think
else does
that
she
will be
want?
yeah. I mean, she literally
Why do
got
you
one of the
defend
best
her?
dragons, yeah. Because I feel like she made her kids who they are. I feel like she's tough, but like she was never soft. She's never going to be that
She has, you don't
lovey-dovey.
have to be
I
soft.
don't know.
You can be
I
tough.
think
You can
she's
be
proud. She
confident.
just didn't say it. I think she just needs to put up this persona, especially in front of all these other people. Like, I don't know. I think she just wants to treat her
She didn't
equal
have to speak. She could look over at her kid for
or give her a
one
little
minute
wink, like
and give a nod and just a
of
smile,
approval.
like any sort of pride. Like everyone's looking at her in awe. You can do that. That's not against the law. A
Yeah.
smile or a just a bow at her, like, you did good.
I think that's
Nothing.
why Zayden's so soft on her too, because he realized she's nothing like her mother.
Yes, I agree.
Hmm.
She's like very harsh, and you already lost a kid. Like you could just do a little something. I don't know. She's gonna have to grow on me. I'm
I
hoping
think
she'll have
she'll
her moment.
surprise
I'm
you.
open
I
to
think
her
so.
having her moment, but I was hoping that
That
something.
would be
This is
it.
the
Yeah.
first time she's seen her mom through all the hell she's been through, and all she is like, she's going through all of this. That's the least she could do for her
Yeah.
daughter. But it is what it is. I mean, when that kiss happened, and that's where we had to stop too, which
I
was
threw
like the
up a little. I was
craziest.
like, ugh.
So I have to reveal something.
Uh-oh.
Today we were recording, Amanda and I are recording on an early afternoon. And I was going to say, like, if you want, we can record at night, this, at the other. I ended up texting her right after I finished this last chapter to be like, and I asked for an early time in the day just so that I could just continue reading after we record. I was like, I want more time in my day because I didn't want to do it at night and have to wait all until nighttime to start
Yeah.
reading. I want to keep going
I'm
immediately. Like,
addicted. Oh,
I I'm really just I'm so into this book.
It's so good. I'm happy I bought it too. Even though I'm listening, guys, I am listening. I won't lie about that. I read a chapter when I was like at the airport just because it was too loud, so I couldn't listen.
Yeah.
But I'm even for the audio. I know you mentioned like the dragon's voice was a little much, but I think it's easy to listen to, easy to follow. But also reading, I
I
think
think
it's super
it's
easy.
gotta be easier. It might be easier to follow if you listen because there's expression in it,
Hmm.
but still, I think for me, when I read it and I
Hmm.
see the names written and stuff, I remember it better.
I wouldn't be able to pronounce any of the names if I was reading it.
Yes, that's true. Like in the Audible, they pronounce where they are as Baskayev. But
Oh,
I'm
that's
reading it in my
Gaia.
head, I'm going, "Oh, Basquiat." That's what I thought. And you know what's funny? I heard these girls who read on another podcast because I love a podcast, shout out.
Mhm.
And they were talking about the book and they were saying Basquiat. And I'm like, you see, like when you read it, you don't
It's
know.
different, yeah. And one
Yeah.
thing I also wanted to mention, I love, love, love Rhiannon. Like, she even made a comment about
Ugh,
Dane. She was like, he literally tried to like not even support you doing this. So I was like, good for
yes.
her. That's a good friend.
I
Exactly.
love Rihanna and I
I
love their
love
bond and
her.
their friendship. And
Mhm.
I was like, please bond. Like she needs to
If she
bond.
didn't bond,
And
I would
she
have been done
did.
with the book.
Yeah. She
and
bonded to a
Sawyer
green.
and Sawyer bonded because last year, remember, he didn't bond with anyone, and this year he did.
Yes.
Oh, so I was so happy
Yes.
for him. Oh.
Oh my God. It was amazing. And
Riddick
like,
made it. So only four of them made it
yes,
from their quadrant.
4 out of 9.
Hmm.
And I love how Zayden was like referring to them as an S. And he's like, no, this is like how it's gonna be. And the
Yeah.
thing is too, if your um rider dies, like your dragon can sometimes have an untimely death too. So like their survival is
Oh,
kind
them
of
four. Hmm.
dependent upon each other because
Yes,
Violet needs to make it so her dragon can be okay. If
because he's
Sigale
tied to
loses a
Sigil.
mate, the
Hmm.
dragon may not be okay. If the dragon's not okay, Xaden is not okay.
Well,
Like it's a
she dies
whole
if he dies. Like if he
cluster.
if he
Yes.
dies, she dies because they need each
Yeah.
other. And same thing with Zayden.
Yeah.
Like I
Well,
mean,
if the dragon dies, the person dies.
and
Yeah.
her and Sigil because they're mated. He was saying that now you can't die because if you die, he
Oh,
may
I see what
die,
you're
and
saying.
then
Yes.
Sigil won't be the
Yep.
same
It's like a
without him.
trickle
It's like a trickle
effect.
effect, exactly. So he was saying like remember when he also said like spending my time with her was like the last thing I wanted, like it was a dagger to her heart, and I
Yes.
was like, girl, me too. I'm sorry he said
I
that. He
know,
don't mean
and
it.
you know they're both fighting it, and she can tell too. She always second guesses. She's like, "Why do I feel this way?" Like
Yeah.
we all feel that pull with her.
Yes.
And I will say what I love about what this author seems to be doing because we just got to like the kiss now with Dane, and she already is like shutting it down. Like I feel nothing. But I like that she didn't like drag it out like, "Oh, they're hooking up." It's like you know how usually they'll do like this whole thing with the person who it's not going to be at first and then it goes away and then it's like, "Okay, here's the real one she's going to end up with." I'm glad we didn't like waste our time with this whole love thing with Dane. Like she's not feeling it. She's already turned off by it and she's having these feelings like already with Zayden. So I like that we're not going through like wasting time dealing with her hooking up with Dane and exploring it and whatever. Like I feel like she's already kind of aware that she's like not feeling this chemistry.
But I also worry she's a little too soft where she's not going to want to hurt his feelings. I think he'll
Yeah.
move on when she starts like being with
He's going to
Zayden.
be
Mhm. He's going to fight
devastated.
for her.
He's gonna I don't even know, like, I feel like he's such a little pussy. I feel
Such a
like he's gonna just
pussy.
throw a tantrum. And I think my prediction still stands because his power is being able to, like, see someone's recent memory by touching their temples. Like, he will see some sort of interaction between Violet and Zayden that he's not gonna wanna see, and that's how he's gonna learn about it, and I'm
That's
telling
how he'll
you
learn.
that's what's
Hmm.
gonna happen.
And that's my thing about her is I wish she would just grow a pair and be like, listen, we can be friends, but you're not supporting me the way I need. We need us
Yeah.
like and she won't because she's too nice. So I think that's how he'll find out when he
Yeah,
touches
I
her.
think she needed this I think
Closure
she
for
needed
her.
this moment to
Hmm.
see because like she's always been entertaining still
What
this
if? Yeah.
crush and
Hmm.
she kind of has and it did devastate her when she heard Dane's answer.
Hmm.
So I think that she needed this to be like, oh wait, okay, maybe there isn't anything there to like really solidify that she can like move past this idea in her head of what this person could be. Cause like sometimes you're just like, you're sort of validating it. You're like, okay, well, he just cares and he just doesn't want me to get hurt and this and
Yeah.
that. But now that she's really seeing, like, okay, they've kissed, and she's like, wait a minute, that's not how it's supposed to feel. Like, there wasn't a spark on her end. And
And
then she's
why
like,
would he
pulled away
kiss
and he's
her?
cheesing.
Like he
Like,
literally wasn't proud of her. He literally was like, "You can't bond with two dragons. You have to pick one." And then you go
yeah.
and kiss her. Like he
Give her
literally,
1 second to be like,
yeah,
you're an anomaly. Like, this is an amazing moment for you. Like, this
yeah,
has never been done before. Like, beaming in pride for your girl.
exactly,
And
exactly.
he's like, you're gonna have to choose, and you should choose the one that like will not let you be a writer, and you could just like walk around the halls. Like,
I feel like we should do predictions. Can I go
okay,
first?
go ahead.
Okay. So I think obviously her and Zayden are gonna like grow this bond. I think it's gonna take a while just because she needs to like bond with her dragon. That's gonna be her priority. But she's gonna be spending a lot of time with Zayden that they can't help but be attracted to each other. And she already has thoughts about Zayden that we know her dragon is listening to. So I'm
Yeah.
already like, this is like gonna get messy. I think they'll keep it a secret at first because they know people won't approve. But I think
Yep.
people will find out. I think Dane will be the one to tell people because he'll find out. So I think
Out
he
of
will,
spite.
yeah, out of spite, he'll tell everyone, tell her mother, and her mother's going to have a huge issue with it. But I think her mom will grow to terms when she sees how powerful they are together, that she'll accept it
Yeah.
eventually. And I hope she wouldn't blame him for what his parent, like you literally killed the kid's parents. The least you could do is
Yeah.
give up your daughter. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah.
honestly, I think there is going to be a blow up when everyone finds out, but it's going
Because
to eventually blow over.
they're going to be so powerful.
There's going to be a moment in the beginning where there's 41 unbonded riders coming up now on into this
Oh, yeah.
next chapter. She's going to be target number one. Everybody's going to want her dragon, they didn't even know was an option at this point. This is the most powerful, biggest
And she has two.
dragon, and everyone's going to be after her, especially
Hmm.
also because they see her as weak.
Hmm.
And obviously, I think that will remain completely unaffected. Like, I
Hmm.
know there may be times where she'll be like, hurt or whatever, but like, she's obviously staying where she is with her dragons. And I mean, my predictions stand that basically are what I said before. I think that Dana's going to find out about her and Zayden
Hmm.
with his power.
Hmm.
And I think she's going to have a strong power, and I think her power is going to have something to do with her mind. It's going to heighten her abilities already, like in some way. I think it's going to have to do with like knowledge, but maybe she'll have two. I thought it
Yeah,
was
that's what I was just
interesting
gonna
how
say.
she
Maybe
can
she'll have
see
two.
from the golden
Mhm.
dragon's eyes, like her marking, which was
Oh,
amazing. So
huh.
maybe she'll have
You know, it would
something
be
else.
great if the golden dragon gave her even stronger power than the black dragon would. Like
Oh
just
my
because, you know,
god.
like he looks so she looks weak, but she's not.
Yes.
Hmm.
I'm waiting for something from this golden dragon that we don't know yet, that
She's gonna
it's like,
kill Jack.
I think, oof, love that.
Yeah.
There's something that we don't know about the golden dragon, about it's gonna maybe not be like in the conventional sense, like strong or this or that, but I think the dragon, not just the power that maybe
Yeah,
she's
Darna would
able
be great.
to to lend, but I think Andarna is gonna herself have some sort of like ability that maybe is not typical for a dragon, that like is some sort of
What about because I feel like
surprise or
she's so
advantage.
sweet and Tarn is a little more like edgy, so maybe it'll be like a balance thing. Like, you know, like they need each other. Like she's super sweet, a little more, and he's like strong and
Yeah.
powerful. And maybe the golden dragon will be very smart. So Darna will help in
Yes.
that aspect. So it'll be like force and then mind. Like
Yes, I just can't. I
it's
love
gonna
the
be
dynamic, like you
like love.
said, because it's like one is a little more sweet, and it's like this, like, it's just like
Hmm.
the perfect blend, like the strength and the like straight up like bluntness when you need it, and then the like softer dragon. I love this. I couldn't have anticipated
It's so
anything
good.
better.
I'm so excited. I
I
can't stop
can't
reading.
wait. No, I'm about to just dive in. For next week, we're reading chapters 17 through 24, and I will probably do that in the next 2 hours. And I'm so excited. Um, I can't.
Such a good
Amanda,
book.
what are you thinking?
So far, I love it. I mean, right now, like going the way it's going, this might be my favorite book of the year. And I hope the ending is like, I mean, I know there's going to be another one. Like, I'm already like, once I finish this book,
Yes,
hopping on to the next. But I love
100.
fantasy. I love sci. This is like right up my alley. When I chose this book, Alina was super excited. And I was excited about that because it's been on my read list and I knew it was popular. So I was like, we have to do it for the pod. Have to.
And I would love to survey you guys if you could let us know, like, if you're liking this book and how you feel about us if we did the next book as Iron Flame, for the pod, or do you want us to switch up like to a totally different genre? And like, of
Mhm.
course, we will continue to read it on our own regardless. So just let us know, yay or nay. Amanda, would you like to plug in our socials, girly?
Yes, if you're watching, please subscribe. We appreciate you guys so much. And we're super excited to announce the winner for our giveaway. And please follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at Book Please Podcast. And we're also on Twitter/X at Book Please Pod. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.